Hi, and welcome to Mark's Motivational Podcast for another Authors Tuesday. So, today I'm delighted to have another great guest on the podcast, all the way from California, Michelle Mintz, a great author. So, I'm really looking forward to talking to Michelle today. So, once again, thanks a million for coming on the show today, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Brilliant.
Over in, yes, Dublin is where, yes.
Yeah, that's right. Great stuff. So we'll probably start the podcast off, if you wouldn't mind telling the listeners and the people watching on YouTube a little bit about yourself and the book you've written would be great. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Michelle Mintz. I am the early development expert. My background is as a speech and language pathologist. I've been doing that for over 25 years, and I specialize working with children in the birth to 3 population. Birth to 3 years are the most critical years for brain development because the neurons haven't formed all together yet. And those are the years that we have to captivate, and the neurons in the development happen based on the babies and the infants, toddlers experiences, and how they get experiences is what then the adults provide. So my background as a speech therapist helping young children and families led me to realizing I want to help parents of all children birth to 3, not just the ones that are having delays or difficulties. All parents need to know these little strategies. So I created my company called Baby Blooming Moments. And that's where I help parents, families, grandparents, nannies, daycare providers help infants and toddlers bloom and using different strategies. And along with that is my book, which I have self-published, I'm very proud of, which is called All Done Binky.
Cool.
And it's very important to get to wean off of a pacifier early enough so it does not affect speech and language development, which it can. If a baby and toddler has that pacifier for too long or talks with it in their mouth, all the structures in our mouth, our tongue and our teeth and everything, they can't move into the correct positions with the pacifier. So they're learning to talk inappropriately, and they can often develop speech and language problems. So when I did my research and looking at books about weaning off of pacifiers, because of course there are wonderful books and stories about somebody who's giving away their pacifier, or it's going here and there, but they're stories to follow. I found that they were more for 3, 4, 5-year-olds who could understand and follow a story. I want 8-month-old, 9-month-old. I want the start weaning process. I want a year, 12 months that we're getting rid of it. 12-month-old and an 8-month-old, they can't follow a storyline in a book. So that's why I brought my simple pictures, simple illustrations, so that very colorful, very eye-catching.
Oh, that's great.
Very,
Yeah.
yes. Of course, I love it. It's my book, right? But very, the binky's in the chair and the binky's in the bed. And then the baby's gonna get a little bit bigger. And so then we have to be all done with that binky in a stroller. The binky, I don't know, what do you call it in Dublin?
It's a dough, like a suitor. The suitor, is it the
A what?
dowdy? It's a suitor or a dowdy, is it? Or
Can you spell that?
yeah, well, like a dowdy or a suitor, like
A doty?
yeah,
A
a dowdy
doty?
or yeah, a dowdy, like, or a suitor, yeah, yeah,
So I knew okay, so different place. So binky, we call
yeah.
it pacifier, we call it passy,
Mm.
call it whatever, whatever it is that's called, and it's called different places and different,
Yeah,
different things.
yeah,
So you replace this word binky, okay? So it's all done doty, okay? And
yeah,
as you read the book, it's all replacing the word binky with whatever word it is that you're doing with your child, so that they relate to it. And so it was really important to me that a book with a child that could look at those pictures and expand their language. So now we're not just going to talk about it. We're going, oh, look, he's wearing yellow. Shh, he's sleeping. And then you get those connections, and we
wow, yeah,
learn to about weaning off and taking it away from the outside and eventually from the bed. So that's how I created my book, that I wanted to be out there for this younger sort of population, a little bit younger ages than people typically think of getting rid of a pacifier. So that's
Great
how I
stuff.
got
Yeah.
inspired. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great because I love the way you've kind of made it really simple for kids, like especially such a young age, to be able to relate to that. So that's absolutely great.
Thank you.
Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you. Thank you. The other thing that I have, I actually love giving, and that's why I love educating and training parents. And that's really what Baby Blooming Moments is a
Yeah.
lot about, is I'm training on different strategies. So we want to get eye contact.
Mm,
Let's put that object by our eyes. If they want the
mhm.
bottle, and then they're going to look at us and then we get that connection. So I'm
Yeah.
very, very much about educating parents. So actually in the back of my book, I have explanations about why is it important to take away the pacifier, so that
Mhm.
why is it that you have to read this book. And
Yeah.
then I have some wonderful reading tips for parents. So
Great.
parents like to read a certain way,
Mm,
looking at the book with their in their lap, but there's much, much better ways to connect with your toddler and baby while you're reading. So I've
yeah.
got some reading tips in there as well. So it's an educational training resource,
Mm,
as well as a wonderful story, and very available on Amazon.
yeah. And who done the illustrations for you? They're really good. The illustrations are great the way they're
Thank
done.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I have to give credit to, her name is Katie Pepperman.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I searched and searched for illustrators and what I could do and what I could afford and what I could do. And I ended up going to Santa Monica City College,
Yeah.
right near me. And
Yeah.
I went
Yeah.
to their graphic design classes, and I
Brilliant. Yeah.
introduced myself and I said, I need an illustrator. And I had Katie that volunteered, not, well, she volunteered to work with me, of course. I,
Yeah.
paid her, and so she got to learn
Brilliant.
while she was doing it,
Yeah.
and get practice for, and now has a book for her portfolio as well. So I'm proud of that too, how
Yeah.
I have been able to get the illustrator and help her in her conquests as well.
Yeah, no, well done for that, because that's really kind of, using different resources that you've got like college nearby you, and you're going in, you're gonna give a student good practice as well. So that's brilliant. I love that idea. That's
Wonderful
great for anybody who's
opportunity.
listening,
Yeah.
because to think about these things, isn't it?
Yeah. So now
Yeah.
on her resume, she can have that, she illustrated a
Mm,
book already in
wow, great,
in college, So
brilliant. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And have you always written yourself, Michelle? Have you always been a writer? Have you where did the story begin?
No, it's funny that I was so inspired. So I have not been a writer. However, in the last couple of years, I have written articles, which
Okay,
are on my website.
mm,
I've been quoted in Newsweek magazine.
brilliant. Well done.
And so I'm starting to put my education, which I like to do verbally,
Yeah.
either in person or virtually. That's what's great about my company, is that I can capture moments virtually. So I can do it internationally and everywhere. And
Mm,
so um I was just really bothered that there wasn't a book for this age group of what it, and the importance of what I felt like it needed. And
yeah.
so I got inspired. It's been a long, long process, and a long process to get the illustrator.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and then self-publishing it and learning all about that.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really proud. I've got people who love to give it as gifts. It's
Hmm.
really a wonderful gift,
Really is.
that
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
get delivered, especially through Amazon, right? So it doesn't have to come to you, and then you get it sent to them
Mm-hmm.
when they're 5, 6 months old. And it's very helpful, and not everybody really knows about it. And so it's wonderful to be able to have it as a resource. I gift it very oftentimes for baby showers or things like that.
Great
So
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And there'll be a lot of happy families reading that book with the newborn baby. So that's absolutely great.
With the baby, well, probably not newborn. So,
Well,
newborn,
when they're
we're
big.
gonna start,
Yeah.
right. We're gonna start
Yeah.
when that's what, that is that he's giving the gift. He's
Yeah.
giving the binky away to
Yeah.
the new baby. So the
Hmm.
newborn's gonna use it, and it's fine. But I'm talking, like about but somewhere around 6 to 8 months, I
6 to
like to
8
have
months.
them
Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
start to think about the weaning process. Um, and I've been inspired to write more. So I'm hoping, I did actually think this might be a series. I've got All Done Binky. I've
Yeah,
got All Done Bottle in my mind.
great
Okay,
stuff.
maybe to
Yeah,
get rid of
yeah.
the bottle as well.
Brilliant. Love
Maybe
that.
All Done Blanky, so a
Mm,
little series there that, is
yeah,
there one day.
great stuff. Yeah, like you can do so much of it, really. Like because the transition from a toddler to a child, like so you got so much you can play around with. So that's great, absolutely great. And you'll have to send me the links to the book on Amazon so people can buy it off you. Like they live in Ireland and Dublin, all over the world. Like.
Yes, absolutely. So definitely it's on my Baby Blooming Moments website, which is babybloomingbomoments.com.
Yeah.
There is a media page there where you can see other articles that I've written. Contributed to what are the best sippy cups around. So for babies and toddlers. All different kinds of materials, as well as you can go there to click on to go directly to Amazon to buy it there. If you do a search in Amazon for All Done Binky book, you got to put the
Yeah.
book in there,
Yeah.
otherwise you're going to get other things.
Mhm.
And then it comes up there as well. It's available in softback and in actually paper,
Great.
but it's also available on Kindle. I have an e-version.
Oh,
So
brilliant. That's great.
yes,
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. So you can
Yeah.
download that from Amazon as well
Mm.
and scroll away.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've got a little godson. He's only turned one, so that'd be really
Oh,
awesome.
yes.
That'd be so I've got your first customer here from Ireland. So
Oh, I'm going to capture you. So I
yeah.
would get that All Done Binky book, have them look at Baby Blooming Moments as a godparent,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
love. There's things I could teach you that you're going to be able to do, and connect with your godson in different ways. And especially if families have their first child, a lot of times we don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the second one, you kind of feel sometimes you have it a little bit more in hand. But
Hmm.
then what I love to do is I love to connect the siblings. So now the new baby sister has come in, and the 2.5-year-old brother is there.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
the parents they want to engage them and connect them. So
Of
they
course.
say to the older brother, will you go get her baby blanket? Will you go get her diaper? And they
Yeah.
become the go-getter. And that's how they try to connect the older sibling. And
Yeah.
that's not really connecting. If that older sibling could hold up their car and that newborn looks at it and gives a smile,
Hmm.
that baby brother feels so good. I made the baby smile, and
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
kind of connection. So I'm able to help when siblings come as well. So there's much to be done with these little ones,
Yeah.
especially with COVID. Lots of little
Yeah.
ones been all
Yeah.
isolated. There's research, and I have that on my website as well. Studies are showing that they are behind developmentally.
Hmm.
And so it's really kind of serious. And so I'm here to help. Let's bring them up. Let's get them ready for preschool. Let
Mm.
them more social, have that eye contact. And Baby Blooming Moments is about that. And getting rid of pacifier, there is a comfort and a necessity for pacifiers. They serve a purpose.
Hmm.
And I'm not trying to take away that purpose. And that's really important for people to know. I'm not just pulling this plug and saying, hey, you got to figure out your own emotions and how to soothe yourself on your own. That's
Hmm.
not how it's done. So
Yeah.
that's why the book is there, is that you need replacement. You need to do it kind and soothing, and understand that it serves a purpose for
Mm.
infants. It's soothing. So then we
Yeah.
can't just say, okay, now you don't have your soother. We have to say, what else can we do to replace that? Is it a blanket? Is it something else? So we need to make sure to keep that in mind and make sure that everybody, all the listeners and everybody knows that I'm very aware of the need for it. And so it's a balance of finding out, okay, how can we wean it and safely, and how can we do this because we understand the importance.
Yeah, no, I love the connection that you're saying with the older siblings, the older kids as well. It's really good because just getting them involved.
In a different way, You know, because again, parents are like, oh, I forgot the bottle in the kitchen. Will you be a helper and go get the bottle?
Yeah,
And
great, yeah.
that feels like you're helping the baby, the older one, be a part of it.
Brilliant, yeah, great.
But you're
That's great.
really, really not, you
Hmm.
know, when you think
Yeah,
about what that role is. So I'm
yeah,
here to help make different suggestions and techniques. Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah, that's great. Thanks a lot for sharing that, Michelle. That's brilliant. And I can
Thank you.
ask as well, kind of what keeps you motivated in your writing as well?
What keeps me motivated in my writing?
Yeah.
It's this, I love helping people. And
Mm.
so educating on this topic on speech and language and delays and autism and that world. Um, so the importance of having a book for this age group for because it's so important. If they get rid of the pacifier, I'm less likely to see them for speech and language. I'd love to see
Yeah,
them, but
yeah,
that's not really what we want. So let's be proactive. I'm all about proactive, and that's where my baby blooming moments, they're proactive strategies.
yeah.
Be
Great.
ahead of the game. And so what's keeping me motivated in my writing is my being able to have that as an expression of my help and education to others in a
Yeah,
different way than what I'm already doing. Love that question.
yeah. No, that's brilliant. Yeah, no, I get that. That's really, I really can hear how you're motivated so well by that. So that's brilliant, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, great. And as well as that, I could ask as well, what other authors that have inspired you really in your writing? Is anybody that's inspired you to write that book yourself?
You know, I'm gonna have to, this is where am I gonna get all red. So I'm not a member of authors. So
Okay, that's fine.
I read books. I shouldn't say that, you know, there are some, but nothing, I read, so I have to say no.
Oh no, that's fine. No, that's grand. No problem at all. Yeah. No, no, but I suppose like what you said in the beginning about your work has inspired you so much to write this book.
Yes, and
Yeah.
yes, I mean, I could think, you know, if you, and writers would be Dr. Spock, who wrote, you know, the pediatrician books, or Dr.
Mm.
Spears, or, you know, so
Yeah,
that's where I would go to, is sort of writers
yeah,
that
of course,
are
yeah,
writing books about development in children and babies. That's, you know, I guess that I should, I don't know their names other than
yeah.
what I mentioned.
I'd be
Okay,
like,
so
I'd be
actually,
exactly, I'd be
there
like
you
you
go.
as
I
well.
just mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. But no, that's great. And how did you find like writing through COVID? Like, did you was that kind of
You
a
know,
barrier or
so this was done all before COVID.
okay? Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so this was not a COVID project. My COVID project is baby blooming moments, even though I've been doing this over 25 years.
Mm,
Get this company, the website, the really getting it out there, trying
right.
to do it virtually,
Hmm.
reaching more people, is what was born in 2020. This was sort of an earlier project, and um, uh, something I'd like to get back to, like I said, with a series, you know, hopefully one day. But
Yeah,
I know people have projects. This was not my COVID project. I have other COVID projects, but
yeah, yeah. We all got into so much different things in that time.
very
Yeah.
much. And you know what? I found lots of things that brought me joy, which I didn't know. So I got very into plants and gardening.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and boy, that's just a whole different joy. I kind of think they've got plants everywhere now, and that wasn't so. And get my hands in the dirt, and so
Mm.
yeah. So new projects, that was a new project for me, and a new hobby, and a new and incredible joy. So that was
Great stuff.
surprising.
Yeah.
That was
Brilliant.
surprising.
And what's next for Michelle? What have you? What any other projects? Uh,
One of my projects, I what I really want to do ultimately with baby blooming moments is I'd like to set up a buy one give one program, similar to Tom's shoes and Bombas socks. So I want somebody who can buy, you know, pay for my program to be able to go through it, and then that would be gifted to somebody who cannot afford my program, does not have the means to be able to get this type of knowledge and training. And that would give me deep satisfaction.
Yeah,
That's sort of an ultimate goal of where I want baby blooming moments to go.
Yeah, you'll give you a lot of satisfaction. That's great. Yeah, brilliant. And can I just ask you a few of your favorites as well? I know you're like me. I don't really remember a lot of the authors, but like your favorite books to read for yourself.
Favorite books to
type
read
of
for
books.
myself. Well, okay, so yeah, I definitely can talk about the type of book. So I love crime kinds of novels.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my most favorite. FBI kinds of something happened and we got to figure it out.
Yeah, great stuff.
I think, and it's interesting because I feel that is how my speech therapy business and my baby blooming moments business, I feel a bit of a detective when I'm trying, especially my speech therapy. I'm trying to put all the pieces, and not just their speech. I'm looking at what's their family life, what is all the different pieces, their sensory issues, are they eating? Because that all plays into everything. So I feel, I guess, that I'm sort of a detective trying to put it all together to figure out how best to help this child and this family. One would think maybe I'd want to turn that off and go for like a romantic and not have to, but no, I still want when apparently when I'm reading, I'm still in that mode of I want to try to figure it out. So that's an interesting thing that you just had me process right there.
Yeah, brilliant. That's great. Yeah, because like I don't know about you, but watching films that have crime films and all that are really good because the twists in them can be great, can't they? Yeah.
Yes.
Really good,
I love a twist. I love a good twist.
Yeah.
where I can't see it coming, because I'm pretty good. I watch too many SVUs. I've watched too many of them, right? So I know it, so when that real good twist comes,
And being from California, your favorite type of music yourself, because there's been a lot of music wrote about where you're from. We were talking about earlier on.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that, all the songs about California. So I have to still say I am an 80s girl. 80s all the way.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Don't have enough of it. Think it's the 70s, 80s, the best.
Yeah. And I suppose I ask people this as well that come on the podcast because I only started doing this recently. I know the type of books that wouldn't have much words and for that type of age group, but for what you're going for. But would you ever listen to music when you write? Have you ever done that or
listen to music when I write? I think maybe my younger self would have been able to do that. Okay. Myself now needs to be able to focus, and that is a distraction to me.
Okay,
for me right now at this age in life.
Oh yeah, no, grand. No, because it's something I tried when I write children's books myself, and I just listen to music without the words, and sometimes you kind of get a flow. It's just something I found,
Oh, so music without words is what you said.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. Like more like a classical music or
something like that. Yeah.
No, I have not tried that. The words and that, if I'm listening to 80s music and trying to, I can't do it. I want to. I want to sing. I want to dance. Yeah. No, I haven't tried that, and that sounds interesting. The next time I'm writing an article for something, I might give that a try. It's interesting.
Yeah, something to try.
How do you feel that helps you?
Well, it's funny because sometimes I'll be typing on the computer and listen to music, and you find that you've written a couple of pages, and you're like, well, where did the time go there? It just seemed to flow much quicker, for people that are listening.
I see. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you for that tip.
Yeah, no problem. And I suppose favorite movies as well.
The one that really comes to my mind is called About Last Night.
Okay. Yeah.
It was with Demi Moore and Rob Lowe and the Brat Pack way back when.
Oh yeah, I think I did watch that.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I did another one. The film. Yeah. Very good. Demi Moore is a great actress. Yeah.
Yes.
Great actress, yeah.
I like those The Breakfast Club, like kind of the Brat Pack films.
Great stuff. Yeah, so listen, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. It's been absolutely great talking to you. And I
Thank
wish you
you.
all the success going forward with all you do with your writing and your career. It's been an amazing meeting you.
Thank you very much. I'm welcome to have people if you want to check out my Instagram or Facebook. I'm on at Baby Blooming Moments.
Great. Yeah.
LinkedIn is Michelle Mintz and babybloomingmoments.com. And
Great.
of course, thank you so much for allowing me to talk about
Wow, it's great.
my beautiful book, All Done Binky.
Mm,
Okay, All Done
absolutely
Binky.
brilliant. You know,
Thank you.
you'll have to share like you know, all your links so I can put them on the show notes for people to find as well, Michelle.
Yes, I am going to give them to you. Yes.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant.
Yes.
And one more thing before you go, if that's okay. Just for people that are listening, a few words like for to keep them motivated because it's a motivational podcast. So just like if you were to kind of in a short sentence, what would you say to people in their writing, or could you give a bit of a voice there, please?
Find what inspires you to write about. And I think that the writing might become much easier. How's that?
Great. No, that's brilliant. Brilliant voice. I'll take that on myself. Great stuff.
A little prolific there for me. Okay.
Yeah. Great stuff. No, thanks a million. Oh, one other thing, you know the way you're saying it's all on Amazon. Do you have in any bookstores as well? Have you, for people that are listening from your part of the world? From
It is not in any brick and mortar stores, but is on Amazon. I believe it's also on barnesandnoble.com.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Is another place for it. Those two places are the for online. Yeah.
Great stuff. Yeah. No.
Maybe one day it will be in a brick and mortar if we still have them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. Because libraries is a good thing for anybody that's listening. For yourself, like I've got my book in a lot of the libraries in Dublin in Ireland. So it's.
I might have to talk to you about how you just donate it and they just put it in there, or I don't know. That's cool. I would love that.
There's a really good bookshop in Dublin that do take new books. You know, I'm sure they take them from all over the world, and they supply the libraries in Dublin anyway. Like this, just.
Maybe
So
we can talk. Maybe you and I can,
yeah,
talk
definitely.
after.
I'll give you the information.
I would love that. That's great. I'd like to look for something like that in the States. That's super. Thank you so much.
No,
I had
thank you so much.
Fun.
So brilliant. So thanks a million for tuning in today's podcast, Mark's Motivational Podcast, with Michelle Mintz, all the way from America, California girl. So so join us again next time for Mark's Motivational Podcast, and take good care of yourselves. Thanks again, Michelle.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Hello everyone, Mark here. Thank you for watching another episode of my Authors Tuesday podcast. I recently published a book of children's stories called The Adventures of Larry Lamppost and Friends. The book began life as bedtime stories I wrote for my own children. If you'd like to purchase my book, follow the link in the description box below. By buying my book, you are also supporting my podcast series for authors, which is giving a voice to writers in Ireland and across the world.